Hey guys, Terry here. I just want to talk a little bit about the representation of diverse characters in media, comics, TV, that sort of thing. Before I get into this, I did recently write an article for Popcorn Chaos about diversity and how important it was to represent diverse characters in teen comics specifically. If you want to read that, check it out up here in the corner. But the thing is, I had so much to say about diversity and representation because honestly I've not talked about it before in this sort of public manner. I realized that I have a lot to say about it. So I wanted to do a video about it here so I could continue the conversation a little bit further. So the most prominent topic whenever we talk about diversity is the representation of female characters in comics and video games and TV shows and whatnot. Because I mean recently at E3, I'm sure you guys heard about the Assassin's Creed debacle where they said it would be too much work to add a female character in a 4-player multiplayer, which is a little ridiculous. I mean, on top of that, there's so many other realms where there are such a lack of female representation. I mean, look at the Avengers. There have been like 6 different heroes, and there's a total of 1 female on the team. I mean, that's a little crazy, right? Yes, there is a utter lack of female representation. And I feel like before I could really get into that and dig into that topic, I need to talk a little bit about some terms associated with female representation, female empowerment, and things like that. But a term that you hear getting thrown around a lot whenever we talk about empowering women and people like me, like that enjoy female characters and appreciate that sort of representation and want to see more of it, you hear the term feminism or feminist quite a bit. Like you could see somebody doing a video like this would probably describe themselves as a feminist. None of this may be new to you guys. Just a little bit of history, just to give you a little background on the term feminist. In the 19th century, there's a feminist movement in the UK and in the US for women to get equal rights. Things like the right to vote, equal custody of parenting, property rights, things like that that they didn't have, and it's crazy to ever think they didn't have those things, but they didn't for the longest time. And so the feminism movement was started as a way for women to rally together and work to create equal rights for women, and over time it's become equal rights for everybody. So the term feminist is really a political term, and it's still around because I mean there's still issues like there's some companies that still don't pay women equal pay, which is insane, and some companies don't allow pregnancy leaves and things like that. So I mean, yeah, for sure, there are still feminists, and it is still very important that feminism is still a movement. But honestly, these days, I feel like it's gone so far beyond feminism that it's become that everyone needs equal rights. Because I mean, these days, you look at things like LGBT laws, it's legal in many states for a transgender or a gay person to be evicted from their house or fired simply because of who they are. So although the feminists have a very great fight, I feel like the fights kind of come full circle and we need to fight for everyone and not just one group of people. Why did I bring this up? Because honestly, a big reason why representation is so important is so that we can look at the political ramifications of it. I mean, in the 90s, when we look at the disabled characters, like on TV, it was almost a stereotype for every 90s teen show to have a character in a wheelchair. And that made great strides for the disability movement because that's whenever things like the American Disabilities Act were passed and there was a lot more visibility to people in wheelchair and with other physical disabilities. If you go even further back, I mean, whenever Wonder Woman was a character, it was sort of whenever feminism was really taking off. She was a symbol of that female empowerment. And though her character may not have been the best representation of female empowerment in the early days, that was the whole reason for marketing her, was so that she could represent that sentiment that people had. Whenever we look at diversity today, that's also why we like to see more of it. Because if we had more female characters, or if we had more LGBT characters, or more disabled characters, then we could see the struggles that they go through in their everyday life, and people that don't go through those struggles, people that aren't in those communities, could be aware of those issues on a more personal level than they'd see them in their day-to-day. Because you know, if you come from a small town, or if you're kind of sheltered, or if you just don't hang out with a lot of people, we've all been guilty of it at some time, then you may not see a lot of diverse people in your life, and you may not be able to understand or fully comprehend the struggles that people go through. And everyone can see just how important the fight is. So to move from things like, from concepts like feminism and gay rights, and to move those into representation, that's why people care about it. That's why it's so important. Because I mean, a lot of people say that it's great to have representation and it's important because then people can see people that look like themselves, or they can relate to these characters, and that's amazing. Don't get me wrong. I I cannot agree more that whenever you read a character that you personally connect with more than you have any other character, there's something very amazing about that. It's something very, very special. But on top of that, there's this whole other idea of the more the characters are presented, the more people are reminded of how important it is to remember these issues. Okay, so apparently I was not kidding whenever I said that I had a lot to talk about, because I made a video that was way too long to post on my YouTube channel. So tune in next week for the next video in the series. And if you like the video, be sure to like it. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe. See you next time.